Financial institutions are facing, particularly banks, are facing three key challenges. The first is increased capital requirement. The next is narrowing of net interest margin. And the third is limitations on the fees that they can charge, particularly in this market segment. So having said that, right, the wealth management aspect and the financial planning aspect, we believe, represent a very attractive market for the institutions that can go and serve it well. When we think about the mass affluent, there are really three subsegments underneath that. So we define that as the emerging affluent, and the wealthy. Now, you could argue that some of that's arbitrary, but for our purposes, we've defined those three subsegments, the top end of which would be households that have up to $1 million in investable assets. The companies that are, the institutions that are good at this are really engaging with their customers. So as opposed to a product push, it's really engagement. And you actually gain more data through that engagement that then reinforces the behavioral aspects here, so that you're looking at how they interact with you and how they engage with you, which again has the enhancing effect of getting more data about how they engage with the institution. That gets you to a point where you're not pushing product all the time, right? But you're understanding and engaging in dialogue. And engaging, I think, is a key word here, because that's not a one-way push. That's a give and a take in both directions. Traditionally, that would be done in a face-to-face environment, but certainly with the advent of newer and newer technology, you're able to do that in lots of different ways. And creating that engaging situation, whether it's using technology or face-to-face or over the phone or over a video conference, that engagement we think is really critical. Really what that drives you toward is a need for collecting and analyzing data about not just the traditional, somewhat static socioeconomic information, but really look at how they interact with the institution. And that requires you to collect and analyze more data, which in turn helps you better understand these segments, not just in terms of their financial balance sheet, but also the way they think and behave and how they want to interact with the institution. So the good news is this is a big market and there's a lot of opportunity there. And there are multiple ways to get started. That might include driving deeper customer analytics to understand customers from not just a demographic, but also a behavioral model. That might be assessing the talent and how you line your people up against serving this market. Or it may be a customer health diagnostic that really looks at how you engage and serve and drive a good customer experience for this segment. We think there are three key underpinnings, if you will. The first is to really understand your existing and targeted customer set and how they behave and interact and engage with you. The second is that the foundation has to be around a thoughtful financial planning process and capability so that you understand their needs over the full life cycle of an individual customer. And then lastly, tear down those organizational silos that keep you from one part of the organization thoughtfully serving a customer that's owned by another part of the organization.